Well, isn't that special? That's an interesting way to end a reading, but I kind of think it's going to be good, actually. And I created a new spread, but I keep burying my cards here, so let me just... Okay. So the overall energy in August, and the focus of the reading is the Knight of Pentacles. And this could be the person that is on your mind or in your life. This would be somebody who is a very steady worker, who is very driven in a practical way, not necessarily an ambitious way, you know, to achieve their career goals. This is more of amassing wealth and being very consistent and hardworking in general. And this is also someone who is quite reliable. It can be somebody who is a little bit on the dull side because they are so predictable and reliable. It could literally be an earth sign individual, so a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, or somebody who kind of has those qualities that I mentioned because in their astrological chart they have a lot of earth, and they could be any sun sign. So this kind of person is influencing things. Now, whether it's a good influence or not, I will be able to kind of ascertain by looking at the past and present, in the positions of the past and present. So we have for the past, it could be more of the recent past, the Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. And so this could be, the Ace of Pentacles could mean that this relationship is on the new side with the earth sign or the person who has those qualities. And perhaps you were also with a fire sign at the time that you met this earth sign individual. So Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Now, because it's a Two of Wands, it could be indicating that there's a choice you feel compelled to make between two people. And so really, this kind of a choice is the choice between safety and passion. Typically, with a sign like Gemini, which is very in need of stimulation on the mental level, I should clarify, you tend to get bored very easily, and therefore, even though someone may lull you into that wonderful place where everything is in order, eventually you're kind of itching to go. Actually, this is a card of, you know, should I stay or should I go? Like that Clash song. It really is this feeling that you may be wanting to leave where you are, and this may have nothing to do with the love side of things. You may be wanting to move anyhow. But definitely in relationships, the part of you that is craving stability is going to be not front and center usually, unless you have a lot of earth in you. And sometimes, you know, opposites do attract, and they can form nice relationships. And it can be a grounding influence for somebody like a Gemini to have an earth sign who can, you know, deal with the little details of life that Gemini finds quite daunting in some cases. But is it a romance? Is it a romantic level type of attraction, or is it just kind of pragmatic? Is it just kind of like a practical thing? It almost gives off this vibe when people do get together like this, of them having to get together because one of, either party got pregnant. Whoever's capable of getting pregnant got pregnant. And so they're kind of put together because of those circumstances, and they decide to do the, quote, right thing and get married. But it's not really a meeting of the minds or a meeting of the hearts. So I don't know if that resonates with any of you, but that's just how I interpret that past situation that might have been a conflict. Now let's look at the present, or the, whatever present means for you, because I'm filming this in mid-July. So if you're watching in August, it probably would be, it could still be happening for you. So the King of Wands and the Six of Cups. Let me see. Let me think about this for a second. Well, it seems to me that I think you're going to feel drawn to someone who's more of a Wands type of person or fire sign type of person, because the Six of Cups is a card of kind of reminiscing on the past. Now, this could actually mean that you get together with somebody who meant something romantically to you from the past, like, for instance, a high school sweetheart. And this could be a situation of still having some kind of a flame, old flame. It's funny that I was talking about fire signs and old flame. But the Six of Cups is about nostalgia. And the King of Wands is about a mature type of enthusiasm. So I think about a person who finds out that their high school sweetheart is single. Maybe they got a divorce, and for some reason it didn't work out when you guys were teenagers. And now the passion is still there, but it's a mature passion. And so it's not going to be chaotic like it was then. The King of Wands is the ultimate in all of the things that we love about the fire signs. But it's the mature expression of it. So it's a very masculine influence, because it's the king plus the fire is double masculine. So it's very much projected outwards, and other people can see it. It has to do with being very passionate, and not just about your things, but your passion is infectious. So even if you're involved in a romantic relationship with this person, you guys will inspire other people. It won't be like this insular thing where you're just into your own little world. And when I think about those types of relationships, I think about soulmate relationships, where other people can draw inspiration from the couple because they are exemplifying the highest expression of love. And they actually help other people to believe that it's possible for them, for their lives, and then those people have a greater chance of attracting into their reality. That's kind of like what you do when you're showing, what life can bring us, the potential that is within each of us. And that's kind of like what this type of relationship can do. And it's going to be a relationship that is passionate but also emotional. Like sometimes when I talk about emotional, it gets confusing because the fire signs and the cups, or the water signs, both, tend to, express themselves in ways that other people may consider emotional. It's only when you get to know them better that you understand the difference between the emotions of the water signs and the passion of the fire signs. Passion is more of a universal thing. It's not just like, I'm in love with this person, this is my own little world, and, I have these subjective passion, or, emotional entanglements. And so I'm emotional about my personal relationships. The passions are more talking about ideals, things that affect a wide variety of people. And it's not just focused on, one person's personal life. So this is like the perfect combination of having passion for life as well as emotional fulfillment within a relationship. And you may have found that person. Now, why is this person in the middle? Well, maybe this is a spouse, and you're torn because maybe you have a decent relationship, or a decent marriage, a decent live-in relationship with this person. Maybe it's the father or mother of your child, and you just feel like it's not some kind of a horrible situation, but it isn't emotionally satisfying. And, as the years go by, you realize more and more that something is missing. It could be as simple as that. So, the higher perspective is the King of Swords. Now, King of Swords, can be going to the lawyer, getting lawyered up for a divorce, seeking the wisdom of somebody who is very wise, who can guide you. But this could be you, actually, Gemini. You are an air sign, like the swords represent. And you may feel like kind of pulled in different places, but you have to allow yourself to focus, not be scattered in your thoughts, because the King of Swords is the ultimate expression in control, mastery over thought. And Gemini tends to be ADD on steroids, so you're going to have to find it within yourself somehow to become more steady in your thoughts so they can make the important decision. But like I said, this can also be you consulting a lawyer. What surrounds you, the environmental influence, is the Ace of Cups. So again, new beginnings in love. And this may kind of be overriding any other thing that's going on, to the point where you are just, you might even be euphoric. You might be on this cloud. And even if you have to do this thing, if you have to separate, legal separation, whatever you have to do, you're going to feel that you're kind of buffered from the unpleasantness of that by a new love, or at least this new lease on life emotionally. Because even when somebody isn't necessarily in a new love relationship, just the fact that they are taking steps to kind of change how their life is now, if they've been feeling stagnation, that can be enough just to kind of buoy people along and make them feel that the future is bright, it's going to get better. Now, what crosses you is the Ten of Swords. I'm reading this in the position as a challenge card, okay? So the Ten of Swords is about a feeling of hitting bottom, betrayal. I would say the only thing that is probably crossing you is the negative feelings associated with what it is that you're doing or what has transpired. Because this may have nothing to do with you wanting to leave. Maybe the other person somehow, you know, maybe they were cheating, you know. It's not always the case that I laid out, that it's that you were bored with that person. But regardless of who did what and how it is that you might be having this fractured long-term relationship, there will possibly be residual feelings of negativity, and it's your job to kind of keep those in check, because that will lessen the likelihood of things progressing rapidly. The longer you kind of cling to the past and relive the situation, particularly, which, you know, anytime that you see swords, and a lot of times the negative swords cards that we talk about, the 8, the 9, and the 10 of Swords, it's what people don't understand, it's the thoughts that are being represented here. Even though they're showing like physicality, they're showing actual blood, you know, spurting out. And with the 8 of Swords, I think about the woman who is bound and gagged. It's really on the mental level that you're having tricks played on you. And it's up to you to keep them in check, and that's what this King of Swords is all about. The advice is the Tower card. In the advice position, this means that you might have to do something just radically abrupt. And that's particularly true if there's something that is dragging on. And that could be the one thing. If you maybe you have already started some kind of proceeding with lawyer. And maybe there could be this ugly court case or something like that. What this would be saying, this Tower card, is you might just want to settle just to, you know, get it over with. And you might just want to just cut it off instead of prolonging the agony. Maybe some of you will decide to move. Maybe you will decide that you don't really want to be in the same location anymore because it's just too familiar, and it's reminding you of, you know, things that you would rather not be reminded of, and maybe you feel a sense of stagnation by staying there. But whatever, you know, is your particular case, and obviously this is a general reading, it's like the advice is just to make a very, very abrupt break with the past. The outcome, which is very apropos, considering the former card, is the Death card. So this really is about a time of transition for you. And, you know, I just thought of something, which makes a lot of sense. I was looking for astrological connections. And, yeah, we have just had those, that blue moon. We've had 2 full moons in Sagittarius. And that would be talking about your 7th house of marriage or other long-term relationships. Now, obviously, that's very generalized due to the degree points. The first one was at 1 degree of Sag, and then the last one was 29 degrees. Very, very symbolic, the first and the last degree. Well, 0 is probably the first degree, I guess. But yeah, so that may be what is this whole thing is talking about. Maybe this is the aftermath of 2 full moons in Sagittarius during May and June. And now you're picking up the pieces and starting a new life or something along those lines. But I'm really warming up to the Death card. I really like the Death card. Part of the reason I like it is it reminds me of the Mexican tradition of Day of the Dead and the use of La Catrina